Cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Welcome back. 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 Dum 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 dum. Tease him a lot, cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We in the building. Well, not we, but me. Will's got stuff going on with the fam, but I wanted to start on schedule, so you just get me for the time being. It has been a while since y'all seen us on screen, and we want to thank y'all for sticking with us, even though we hadn't made an appearance since December. And we want to thank y'all for persistently trying to drag us back, and stuff like this helps as well. Now that's funny. But if it would have been anything like that, y'all would have definitely seen some hashtag Free Willy or hashtag Free LTMB stuff on social media, I promise. But before I get my hands dirty and wrestle with any of these stories that popped up this week or last week, I kind of want to deal with some stuff in general with y'all, as a warm up. It just wouldn't feel right if I just dove into a specific story. I kind of want to just kind of talk a little bit, first, because sometimes I think it's good to take a step back and, assess how we relate to our viewers. And, it's good to take a step back to assess, I guess how we relate to the information that we have become a conduit for. And, as a side note, assess the information that you guys give to us, because that's an element of the channel that I don't think y'all understand how important it is. I think y'all understand how important it is in general, but I don't think y'all, have actually heard us vocalize how much we think it's important to us and how much it does benefit us. Like a lot of people wonder whether we pay attention to, the comments on the visitor, wall, or comments in the comment section. And many of you have seen us respond to comments and interact with people, but we're two regular dudes. So, we got regular lives, jobs. So sometimes it's just not feasible. But we do try. But that is important to me personally, because a lot of times, like in a comment section or on our visitor board, something was shared and that may have sent us in a direction we weren't going to go, prior to seeing that. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a long post. Sometimes it's just a general response in the comment section. I wasn't even looking at it in a certain way, and then someone comments and I'm like, okay, all right. Now I can maybe attack an issue at, angles that I previously wasn't before. So, that's your comments are highly appreciated. Now, as far as our, assessing this channel and our mission, none of that is going to change. Y'all can go read our mission statement on our Facebook page, on YouTube. Nothing's going to change about that. It's just, we're human beings, so we grow and we evolve. So as we grow and as we evolve, the channel is going to grow and evolve too. And we hope that, y'all can grow and evolve, with us. Now, as far as our followers, I'd say y'all are highly informed. And to be honest, sometimes, y'all can be more informed than like me. I can't speak for Will, but I can say there are times where I can notice the users that are more informed than me, and I really love that. Um, you know, no, I ain't throwing shade at younger followers, but I will say followers that are older than me, 10, 15, 20 years, um, they have a higher probability to offer some insight into certain topics. You know what I'm saying? Even our young followers are on top of their game, though. I will say that. I'm just saying, like, older followers tend to have a higher probability at offering insight to certain topics. Like the Reagan era, for example. I mean, I was still playing with my, action figures and, my tricycle and my wagon, so my mind wasn't there yet. And so I can read as much as I want about that time period, but there's some, people who follow our page and watch our videos that probably can offer a little bit more experiential insight to things, no matter how much I read about that era. So, I really do kind of appreciate some of our older followers. Not to say I don't appreciate the younger followers, because like I said, y'all be on y'all stuff too. I'm just saying older followers tend to have a higher probability of kind of offering a perspective that may be foreign to me. They've been around longer, probably been more places than I have. So that's that. But I think that ties into the responsibility we take for our viewership. Now, what I mean by responsibility is acknowledging that our audience is a direct consequence to the stories we choose to cover. Now, I noticed, when we kind of first started, we got some instant followers based on a small sample size of, with the stories we covered. And they were like, about Democrats and about the DNC, Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, maybe a few Obama videos here and there. And so we attracted some Republican loyalists, some very partisan people, and they just saw it as an opportunity to just, grab their popcorn and just like demonizing Democrats. Go, 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 go. I'm like, no, it's not about that. And then once they saw all the other stuff we covered, like the war on drugs, prison industrial complex, military industrial complex, DAPL, Flint, police brutality, healthcare. Once they see all that stuff, they're just like, pew, they're just on their way. So, after uploading over 300 and something videos, our audience, filters out. So if you've been following us for a long time, you know what we're about. But, I think most of y'all understand why it was necessary for us to focus on Democrats, because the Democrats were just running a train on the word progressive. Now, if you already know what that means, don't look at me with the side eye, because you know what it means. Now, if you don't know what that means, just go look it up on Urban Dictionary, because I'm not going to explain it here. My mama's probably watching, so I'm not going to explain it here. But anyway, the Democrats were running through that word, and they just kind of like just throwing it around, willy nilly. And I think it was necessary for us and other, people who offer commentary like ours to make the distinction between us and them. Kind of those that attempt to address actual progressive issues, and then kind of calling out those politicians that kind of superficially appeal to a populist, message. They create a superficial populist image for themselves, and I think it was necessary for us to, separate ourselves from them because I think people associated the Democratic Party with progressivism, and that's a incorrupt. I was going to say incorrect, but the word corrupt came out. Woo, that was it was right on time. But anyway, yeah, they were falsely associated with that word. Um, but whatever. You know what I just realized? I realized where Will and I were at this time last year, and was at the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia. Um, I, I didn't realize it had been a year until I looked on my computer and looked at the date. I was like, wait a second, this is the same week. But obviously we were disappointed with the results of the convention, but we weren't disappointed, with the experience we had. The people we met, the connections we made. Whether it was briefly or talking to people for an extended amount of time, everybody was cool. I'm pretty sure there was some whack ass people there that week, but we didn't meet them. Um, Everybody that I talked to, I can say I'm glad I met. I still think about everybody I met that week and everybody I talked to. I still think about them to this day. Um, but one thing I wish would have came out of that week was Bernie Sanders separating himself from the Democratic Party. Um, I, I think he could have got the ball rolling and galvanized a large and robust political insurgency. I think he missed out on a big opportunity to do that. Jill Stein offered to step aside uh, and let Bernie lead the Green Party ticket as their presidential candidate, but he didn't bite. Um, he rolled over. He rolled over for Hillary Clinton. I think everybody was hoping that he would have run third party, but at the beginning he said he would endorse Hillary. But I think people were hoping that that was just a bluff. Uh, you know what I'm saying? And he would just like surprise everybody at the end. But that didn't happen. And honestly, I don't think he got enough flack for doing that. And whatever flack that he did get, it wasn't enough. Maybe we didn't give him enough flack. But when you endorse the candidate that you say is one of the most corrupt candidates, it looks it looks kind of weak. It looks kind of suspicious. It looks suspect. So that's why a lot of people call him a fraud, a shill, a Democratic establishment apologist, which, I can say sometimes it looks like he does, but I wouldn't go as far as saying he's a fraud. I'm not on the other end either. The people who have like this unwavering, admiration for him, like he's flawless. I guess I fall somewhere um, in the middle. Um, One other thing that kind of stuck out to me, and I'm kind of disappointed with Bernie on, is the fact that he's not endorsing Tim Canova. Now, Tim Canova is trying to take the seat of the person who screwed you over in the primaries. So it just makes no sense that you wouldn't endorse him. You know what I'm saying? I think, I mean, if you're not endorsing Tim Canova, then by default, you're endorsing Ramen Noodlehead. I'm sorry. I think that's the conclusion that most people would reach if you just think about it. If he's not endorsing the person that's challenging her, you know, but whatever, and he's not getting enough flack for that. He's not getting enough flack for that. But I still like Bernie, but that don't mean I can't really point out some things that I don't like. Like The fact that he keeps saying, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Democrat. I'm like, I think sometimes he switches back and forth, when it's convenient for him. But I think if you endorse the Democratic nominee for president, I think people are going to just give you that label, and rightfully so. But it's he's a ghost Democrat, or I don't know, like he's a Democrat at 75% opacity. But I think he has some sort of emotional connection because it's just irrational. Because you know, why is he on this delusional crusade to reform a party that is not interested in being reformed? You know what I'm saying? It's just irrational. So I think he has some sort of emotional connection, or he has more hope for them than most people do. I kind of think he's doing something similar with Republicans concerning the health care bill, because right now he's on his "Don't Take Our Health Care" tour. It's supposed to combat Republican talking points about the health care bill, but I don't think their talking points are working anyway, considering it's a very low approval rating. I guess secondary aim is to put pressure on the Republicans, or I think Republicans in certain states, and to send them a message. I'm like, what message could you possibly send them that will change their mind? They've been persistently trying to sell this bill that everyone, including them, knows is a shit sandwich, and doing it with a straight face. So I don't know what kind of influence, anyone could have on them right now. Like I said, they have has a low approval rating, like 17%. I was reading the article, and it listed things that are more popular than this healthcare bill. I don't know what method they use to extract this data, but there's a list of things that have a higher approval rating or a higher approval percentage than this healthcare bill. I'm gonna read. Let's see what this list says. Nancy Pelosi, yeah, Nancy Pelosi, she's on the list. 29% approval rating. Richard Nixon has a higher approval rating, than this healthcare bill. Vietnam War does too. Here's my favorite. Kim Kardashian has a higher approval percentage than this healthcare bill. That's crazy. That's crazy. But I mean, that's one example of why there are some people that are disillusioned about the government, because they can see that their leadership is blatantly not looking out for their best interest, and then telling them to their face that they are. But I'm not disillusioned at all. And the reason why I'm not disillusioned is because to be disillusioned, it suggests that, I'm under the illusion that we do live in a society where the leaders are looking out for the people, and not out for those other people.
Corporations are people, my friend.
I'm under no illusions that we live in a free democracy. I think we live in an unjust society. And simply because we're not restricted and everything we can do doesn't mean we don't deserve that label. Why do we constantly keep having to fight for justice? Why do we keep having to beg those in power for the privilege of not being disenfranchised? I mean, why do we have to fight for something that's supposed to already be a characteristic of this nation? It's like we have, all these extracurricular activity options. I mean, entertainment wise, we can go to a movie, we can go fishing, we can go to a sporting event, we can play Xbox online. But like, how hard is it to petition your government for change? How hard is it to challenge the power structure? I think that's more important. You know what I'm saying? All those things are kind of like just side items or extra. But when I use the term unjust, usually people go towards like an event or a moment, but it's more expansive than that. What are the nation's priorities? How do the laws affect society, and what kind of impact do they have? Like Donald Trump just recently loosened regulations that makes it easier for industry to pollute the environment. That's unjust. What about Jeff Sessions? Jeffrey Beauregard Sessions. He wants to reinvigorate the war on drugs. He also wants to give law enforcement more power in the area of civil asset forfeiture, which is already outrageous. I'm pretty sure that's going to end up, creating a lot of injustice. What about Flint, Michigan? I mean, human beings in power made decisions, and that pretty much destroyed a lot of people's lives. That's unjust. Dakota Access Pipeline. How many people got abused during that time period? That's unjust. What about net neutrality? Why do millions of people, have to flood the FCC website and get it shut down? Why was that even necessary? Because we don't live in a just society, but yeah. Anyway, I'm just glad y'all awake. It makes my job a whole lot easier. I ain't got to argue with y'all on bullshit. And if I do, it's constructive. Speaking of waking up, do y'all think, you could wake somebody up? Or, I don't. I think that's something somebody has to do on their own. Not necessarily do on their own, but that's a decision somebody has to make on their own. It's a conscious decision. You have to choose to go on that journey. Now, I do think that, people can be assisted in that process. I think people can assist one another in the waking process, but I don't think you can just wake somebody up. What's the opposite of being awake? Being asleep. And usually when people are asleep, they dream. And when you're dreaming, you're usually responding to the same, stimuli, and so you think it's real. So people who are asleep are dreaming, and they're thinking the dream is real. And if they think the dream is real, they're not going to wake up. So they have to, at some point, believe the dream is not real, and then that's when they wake up, and then they're in your world. That's just the way I see it. But I don't know. Maybe you'll have a different take on it. But I'm taking up enough of your time and enough of my time. I got stuff to do. I'm going to drop this video and just let it marinate. And I'm going to toss up the deuces, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. As a warm up, it just wouldn't feel, because sometimes, assess, it's good, and, the comment, and, prior to seeing that, now I can at, angles that that's as far as our, y'all can go read our, no, I ain't throwing topics, like my, action figure, my tricycle, so, you know, but, that ties, I noticed, when, with this, to just, grab their pop we covered, like, after uploading, our audience, filters out. But, I think most of you throwing it around, willy nilly. Other, you know, they, separate, but, with, the people, or, I still, when you is, it looks, call them, I'm not on the, the people, one other, but, whatever, you know, like, when it's convenient, but, it's because, you know, you know, but, but, when I, how, human, that's, why do people,